All right, talking money moves right now. Stock market expert Jason Brown became a first-time author this year with his new book, 5 Year Millionaire, based on his own journey.
5 Year Millionaire, we like that. Let's show the book. Yes, the book highlights strategies to achieve financial independence through investment. Jason is here now to share his wealth of knowledge. Welcome to Good Day, New York.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So 5 years. Okay, so let's see if I start, how am I going to do this? Really, 5 years?
You can do it in 5 years. The key is that when you think about how money compounds, if you could start with at least $4,000 and earn 10% a month for 60 months, which is 5 years, you'd actually end up with $1.2 million.
Okay, I like the math here.
But the key is thinking about how do I earn 10% a month? How do I invest that $4,000? So you also have to have the knowledge and the discipline as well.
I want to get to some of those sort of tips in just a minute. But for you, I mean, you come from very humble means. Grew up in Detroit, a family that, definitely was a working class family. This is something that you've kind of have strived through since you were a little boy.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so passionate about talking about it, because I came from such humble means. We were sleeping on the floor in sleeping bags, bars on the window, gangs in the neighborhoods, and there was nothing about me that said, A, I would be a millionaire, or B, that I would be writing a book and telling people that it's possible to do it in 5 years.
So can you talk about how you shifted your mindset? For a lot of people, like myself, who grew up poor, you have this scarcity mindset. So how did you shift from that to abundance?
Well, you see abundance everywhere. You just start to have to ask the question, like, how do I make it work for me? I saw people making money from the stock market, so I said, how do I make it work for me? I heard about the Warren Buffetts and people like that. And so I think first is just thinking about people as heroes and saying they're human, they breathe air, but they're not special, but they know something special. So if I can get that same knowledge and then apply it, I can get my version of a result. I won't get the exact same result, but I can get a version of it.
Well, let's talk about that knowledge that you were able to receive from them. Pass it on to us. You said start small. Tell us more about that and be consistent. That's the big thing.
Start small and be consistent. But before you can do that, I think first you have to get organized. What I did was I looked at my life, I looked at my lifestyle, I laid out all my expenses, and I laid out my income. Simply put, who owes you and who do you owe, right? we gotta come to grips with reality, and you hope that your income, your paycheck, when your boss owes you, is more than what you owe other people. That's where you first want to start. Just get organized, have a financial meeting with yourself, your spouse, and get real about your situation first.
And then it looks like starting small. You don't necessarily want to put all your money into one big stock. I mean, what are we talking about here? Start small is one of the other tips.
Yeah, so you want to start small. If I asked you if you wanted $1 million right now, everyone would say yes. Right?
No
absolutely.
doubt about it.
But then if I said, what if I didn't give you $1 million, but what if I gave you a penny a day that doubles for 31 days? Most people will be like,
no, thank you.
No, thank you, right? But a penny a day that doubles for 31 days will actually be $10 million in 31 days, right? And so we have to understand that starting small with the compounding effect could actually have a big impact on your life. So that's why I say start small, because people think I only have $100, $500, or a penny. That's not going to do anything. But it's that consistency we talked about.
No doubt about it. What would you say to your younger self during those tough times? Sleeping on the floor, bars on the window, gangs outside, violence outside your door. What would you say to that younger Jason?
I would say everything's going to be okay. I would say everything is going to be okay. And I would say that to everyone watching who may not be in the financial situation that they want to be in. Everything is going to be okay, but it's only going to be okay if you get educated and if you start to take some different action than what led you to possibly be in a financial situation that you're not excited about. But everything's going to be okay.
One of the tips I like that you have there is automate your savings. What does that mean? Is that just like automatically it goes from here to there in your bank account?
Yeah, so you want to automate your investing and your savings, because human nature, we either A, will forget, will B, say not this month, right? So when you make investing and saving optional, a lot of times the option will be not to do it.
Yes.
So if you can automate it, let that money come out of your bank account. So for example, if you work a job, just automate your 401k investment. Let them take $50 a paycheck, $100, and put that in there. Or, we do this all the time with Christmas. We automate pulling some money out so that you can have money to spend for Christmas. Why don't we do the same with investing?
I do that for my kids, their 528 accounts. It's just automatically it has to come out. Otherwise it'd be too hard to kind of remember that.
You don't even think about it, but when you look back at the end of the year, you feel good.
It's true.
You see that little pile start to grow.
Jason, what do you say to someone that's watching right now and they're like, listen, I'm already struggling. Things are tight. How could I become a millionaire in 5 years? What's the first step that they could do outside of having that conversation with yourself?
The first step after you get organized is really to live below your means and invest the difference. That's the key. So when I was upside down in my finances, I really took a hard look at everything, and I put things in 3 categories. I said, what do I need? What do I want? And then what would be more like a nice to have, if you will, right? And so I needed food, I needed shelter, and I needed transportation to get to work. When you scale it down to those 3 things, you start to see all the other things that you can cut.
Oh, boy.
And start to use that to either pay down debt or, more importantly, use it to invest, because you can't save or pay down your way to being wealthy. And so you have to invest your way to being wealthy.
That's a real conversation
I guess
everyone needs to have.
Can be more complicated when you have a family, though, when you have kids and stuff like that. I mean, so some of it, the needing and wanting, it gets a little more complicated sometimes when you have more people needing.
It does. And you know, I'm married as well, and I have 2 kids. I think it's so important to get the family on board and say, what are we going to sacrifice as a family?
good,
What do we need as a family? Because this is where we're going. And if we can sacrifice as a family, we can get to this place as a family.
And we're showing your family right now. It's important to have that conversation so everyone's on board.
Absolutely.
Sell the PlayStation 5. No, don't do that, because then you'd be in big trouble.
Just for a short period of time.
Jason, thank you so much. The book is called
Five Year
Millionaire. It's available everywhere, right?
Books, everywhere books are sold.
Where else can we find you? I know you have an Instagram.
Instagram, I'm at The Brown Report. YouTube, I'm The Brown Report. Or they can just come to thebrownreport.com and connect with me on all my socials.
Awesome. Thank you for stopping by. Good day. We know you got a busy day. We wish you all the best on the new